Okay, so yes, welcome. It is always a pleasure to be live in Connessioni. And this week we are continuing from last week. Last week, you guys, we went over Hall of Mirrors and animal ego higher self integration. What is our animal? What is our ego? What is our higher self? How do they all communicate with us? How do we integrate? So this week, we're actually going to talk about whole brain, whole human, the left brain, the right brain, and the whole brain state. Okay? Because a lot of times, many of us are perceiving from we're more dominant, right? We're more dominant. And so when we learn how to integrate, then we can be more balanced. We can be more whole brain. And from, so we're going to get into it. But anyway, let's set the intention for today, y'all. And the intention for today, let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. So the intention for today is to remember our wholeness. And the whole brain state is super important because from a whole brain state, this is a healed state. This is homeostasis. This is what really everyone seeks, right? Um, so with balanced embodiment, we talk a lot about left brain, right brain, and whole brain state because when you can become whole, you can heal anything. You can reprogram anything. You can be anything. So let's start it off, y'all. So, right brain, y'all know the deal. Well, first of all, I'm Taisha Karuna Anahata Ma'at, founder of Holy Space and the creator of Whole Mirrors and Balanced Embodiment. I am a sorry you guys, something's popping up here. I am a ordained minister. I am a deaf doula. I am an integrative healing arts practitioner. I integrate so many modalities from up level to psych kinesiology to somatic psychotherapy to laying on hands, Reiki, so many different things. But what I'm really passionate about is subconscious reprogramming because as we move forward as a collective, we do not need to suffer in the ways in which we have. And so we have tools that can accelerate our healing, accelerate our understanding, and help us anchor in more and more of our divine energy. So let's get into it. So our right brain is our emotional brain. It's non-linear. It's it doesn't care about left turn, right turn. It's the scenic route, right? That's our creative side, our intuitive side. That's the right brain. Then we have our left brain, which is logical, analytical, right? A lot of this, a lot of you have probably even heard of this already, right? But what we don't know is that when we're under stress or when we're going through things, we're perceiving from one side more than the other, right? So if we're only getting one half of it, then we're not sitting in the full power of utilizing both halves working together. So integration is super important, right? So the whole brain is harmony, it's divine union. It's when the left brain, right brain is together, when the masculine and feminine is together. This is what everybody tries to attain, right? The whole brain state. So when both hemispheres are active, we're resourceful, we're responsive, we're regulated, we're whole brain. And like, let me tell you, you know what? Was trying to be a little formal, but I love to tell stories, so let's get into it. So, whole brain state stuff. The the way I even found like that I can instantaneously come to a whole brain state, other than the methods that I already knew, like different breath works, like Kundalini, like so many other things I already knew. But what I didn't know is that it could all be so much simpler. So when I was going through a situation, I was breaking out, and my friend was like, "Hey, would you like to try psych kinesiology?" And I was like, okay, what is it gonna hurt? And then in 5 minutes, my hives were like going away, and I was like, this is insane. I have to learn this. I have to learn this. I have to learn what is going on. I have to learn how to do this, how to do the process. So anyway, so when you do a balanced embodiment, when you do practices like psychokinesesiology, the goal is to create an almost instant transformational state, right? We're talking about whole brain state on command. So what happens is, and this is why I really love it, like, because, so, because I'm an integrative, and that's balanced embodiment is a whole brain system, your animal space is one space, right? But a lot of times we're not objective, right? We're like, yo, like, that ain't it. Da-da-da-da. We're not objective. But when you talk about going into balanced embodiment, you're talking about bypassing your conscious mind. It's like, okay, your conscious mind is only going to tell you what it knows. It's only going to tell you what it's been fed. It's only going to tell you. So now, let's bypass that and go straight into the subconscious. So when you're talking about coming to a whole brain state instantaneously in subconscious reprogramming, you're talking about using your singular vessel to instantaneously come to whatever it needs to. It's going to bypass everything you think you know, and it's going to go straight to the program. Do you have this program? Yes or no? If I'm speaking with my subconscious and I say I'm a passive income earner, and my subconscious responds as a week, then I know I do not have that program, and I need to put that program into me. And once you do that, once you come to the whole brain state, and there's a lot of different ways, right? Sherry Ashara, rest in peace, you guys. But she has the aha method. There's so many ways and methods for us to come to a whole brain state. In balanced embodiment, we use a method that I downloaded during during this beautiful meditation. I downloaded this whole brain postures and systems for my system, right? But a lot of systems have a lot of different postures and things you could do. So once you get educated on left and right brain and how to get them to interact, you'll get your own modalities and things that feel great for you, right? So let's see what's my next point that I'm going to, you guys, today. Like I said, I was going more in an out loud form, but I just wanted to see what was going to be the difference versus when I just free speak. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, free speaking I think may be the way to go, because this outline, it got me looking, it got me thinking, like, okay, am I am I skipping stuff? And so, when you were in a whole brain state, both hemispheres are lit up, both hemispheres are active, both hemispheres, this is really utilizing 100% of your brain. So in balance embodiment, we use these certain postures that I'm talking about, that I show my people, and that I'll show you guys one today. We use this in order to anchor in the new programming into the DNA and cells. Because the thing about it is that when you're in the process of bringing yourself to a whole brain state, you are literally communicating with your cells what it is you need them to do at that time, and what needs to they need to be doing moving forward. And this is life changing. It's life changing because we don't always know. We think we know. Y'all, how many of y'all think y'all a passive income earner? Now, how many hours do you work a week? Anybody saying it? Anybody saying they working 80 hours a week? You are not passively income earning. That's your conscious mind thinking that it knows something. Because what do I always say, you guys? The conscious mind is running at 40 bits per millisecond, but the subconscious mind is running at 40 million bits. So the conscious mind, it don't know much. So it is lying. It's lying. So you got to get to the truth. What is the real thing that I believe deep down at the core? And a lot of us have core beliefs that are not serving us. A lot of us have core beliefs that are insane. Like, we could really get into it. 11 11. Seriously. A lot of us believe that we have to work extremely hard 40 years to retire on 40% of what we couldn't survive off of in the first place. A lot of us have really wild core beliefs. And from these core beliefs stem all of our experiences. Remember, we in a hall of mirrors, right? At the end of the day, everything I'm going to say probably for the next 6 months to a year is going to be about the hall of mirrors. No matter what modalities I bring it in, it all goes back to the hall of mirrors. What is the past pattern? What is the programming? What is the conditioning? What is the expectation? What what is your, because what's happening is that we're speaking to ourselves all the time. So from childhood, things are being spoken to yourselves. This is already proven. It's scientifically proven that the things you say program these children. So if you've all your life ran on a program that you cannot have commitment and be free, then all your life you can be running from commitment because the secondary gain is quote unquote your freedom, when really you could program yourself that I experience freedom while in a committed relationship. Like the reprogram is so easy, y'all. The reprogram is so easy. Sometimes I reprogram, and I'm actually really, really good with words, so this is really rare. But some things, riding a bike is as easy as eating Oreos for me. Y'all, I was down in Oreos. Like right now, I'm not an Oreo eating person. But at one point in my life, I was down in Oreos. And so when I went to reprogram certain things, I think I had to act fitness. Fitness is, going to the gym is as easy as eating Oreos. And I was hitting the gym. Working out is fun and effortless for me. So you always want to make sure that you are checking in with yourself and saying, okay, what is the program? What is the program? Because this is what it is. This is getting to the root. Once you get to the root, you can reprogram. What is the story that I'm telling myself? When you buy the Hold the Mirrors workbook, it's all in there. It's all in there. The pages are in there to where you can, what are the stories? What are the stories that you have? And your stories and the things that have happened are not fake or invalid. Those things happen to you, and you experience them from how you experience them. But now, as an adult person, what do you do with that? And honestly speaking, my teenager, this is my teenager. I teach this, that everybody is a reflection, because they really are. And so, anyway, so your conscious mind is actually only running 5% of your life. So not only is the conscious mind running slowly, 40 bits per millisecond, it is running only 5% of your life. So the you that is seeing, the you that can touch, the you that is this, the surface, the one that says, oh no, I know that I'm a passive income earner, but you work at 80 hours a week. The, the conscious mind is only running 5% of your life. This is already proven, y'all. The subconscious mind is running 95% of your life. And the subconscious mind is storing memories. The subconscious mind is, we've been told 0 to 7, but the subconscious mind is actually getting 0 to 14. Me and my daughter, we talk all the time. My daughter is 15. So during 9 to 12, now that she's 15, she talks about things that happened when she was 9 to 12 as well, as root experiences. And when I look at her life, even photos, everything, you could see that energy. You could see the shift. So, yes, 0 to 7, and those are going to be core foundational, yes, but also 7 to 14. These are the times that our subconscious mind is building up the experiences and the memories. And the crazy part is, it's not only just holding the now physical reality memories. The subconscious mind is part of a bigger programming network. Sorry to use the word program. I don't want to use that word. Excuse me. The subconscious mind is connected to something even greater. Okay? So many try to think they way into change or think they way into healing. But it doesn't, I mean, that's a part of it, right? That's a part of it. But how do we take the actual steps to move forward. So a couple of different things. When we talk about left brain, right brain, whole brain state and how to get it to interact, if you're right-handed, start using your left hand. If you're left-handed, start using your right hand. And this is not something you need to do all the time. But maybe you start with one day out the week. You honestly, you can start with 10 minutes out the day. Then you can go to an hour out the day. Then you can go to 2 hours out the day, 10 hours out the day, 24 hours, and then you just go up and up and up. You see how I'm using my left hand now? All you got to do is do it. And then another thing you could do is get them to interact. So moving the body parts at the same time, crossing them, tapping, tapping, tapping. Interacting with both sides. And this is the legs as well. I'm sitting down right now, so I'm hands. But with the legs as well. Get the left and the right to interact. Get to know them more. Things that you usually wouldn't do, try it out. Like, let's say you always take the GPS. Don't go get lost. For the people with the good directions, I have a great sense of direction, so I do stuff like this all the time. I'll put the GPS down and just do my thing. So do that. Or if you always super intuitive with the shit, go ahead and pull up the GPS. Go ahead, pull up maps. Look at several maps. You know what I'm saying? Look at different things. So the body, now this is another, just a nugget. Now remember everything I said about the subconscious mind. Guess what the subconscious mind is? The subconscious mind is the body. The body is always holding the score. It's holding our traumas. It's holding our beliefs. It's holding our protection mechanisms. That's why that's why all this information is coming out. But obviously, this is ancient information. But all this information is being released publicly that we're storing emotion in our hips. Every ailment that we have is a what? It's an echo from the body. So the body, the subconscious, if it's keeping a score, you got to know how to communicate with it, because it's not shouting at you with words, but it's going to shout at you with the boil, the cyst, the fibroids, the yeast infection, the whatever, the cancer. Now again, right, because a lot of times we like to go in and we don't want to talk about these things in this way. It's not anyone's fault, and no one deserves it, right? But we are coming from the higher knowing that everything is happening for the person on the path to remember themselves, to go through the things that they need to go through that we know nothing about, right? So with cellular reprogramming, you get to reprogram your nervous system, you get to reprogram the subconscious, and that's what's really the key to embodiment. Because now, not only you're getting everything in alignment. I think I gave this example before, but your conscious mind is like you pushing a hand cart and you going this way. Your subconscious mind is like a speed train and it's going that way. You got to get them on the same track. And once they on the same track, it's up from there. Now the body, now you're communicating with all parts of you. And now it's like, oh yeah, I got you. I'm going to do this. Because the body's already doing it already. But it's doing it based off of what we believe. So we believe if I do XYZ, I'm going to get real, real sick. Now every time you do that thing, you getting real, real sick. It's because that's the program you have about it. That's you are creating the vibration. It's not your fault, it's your creation. You're creating it based on what you believe. That's what I talk about all the time. You create your life. I'm the creator of my life. I am going to perceive this based on what I believe to be true from my experience. That's why I don't know if y'all seen the Haunted of Hill House. The whole time you thinking all this crazy stuff is going on all over the house. End of the movie come. They was in the one room. Every kid was having their own perception of what was going on in that room. That's exactly what's happening. So when you wondering why Belinda is going through all this amazing stuff and you hurting, or why you going through amazing stuff and Belinda is hurting, but y'all essentially grew up with the same life or going through the same things, or you may quote unquote in the 3D be going through way worse stuff, but she's breaking down. That's because it's her perception of her reality. So even though I may feel like, okay, I done been through way worse things than the person next to me, that does not mean that their things weren't terrible for them, because they're going to perceive from their level of reality, from their level of consciousness. So how does the whole of mirrors, and of course I've been talking about this whole time, so we all know, but how does the whole of mirrors and a whole brain state go hand in hand? Because if you walk into the hall of mirrors and you know exactly what it is, you know what the core root is, you know what the belief is, you know da da da. Oh, I could come to a whole brain state. Because once you start to communicate with your body, it's a lot of different ways that I teach people to communicate with their body. You could pull from anywhere. But there are times where it says, I have conscious awareness of the message. And my partners, they gonna test yes, strong. Because they already heard that this problem in their chest and their lungs is because they haven't grieved their parent. They've heard it 1,000 times. But let's say Matt never heard that. So when we go in and do echoes from the body, a book about grief come up. Hey Matt, does this resonate? Oh yeah, man, my dad died and da da da. I haven't never grieved, blah blah. Now not only does he get to grieve, but now he can program in that the grieving part is easy. That is safe for him to grieve, or whatever. We get to the root of it. When you get to the root of it, then you can reprogram. You come to a whole brain state around anything. And you'd be really surprised. You'd be really surprised when communicating with yourself. You might be doing something about arts, and you like, well, my right side feels amazing about it. But then you really find out that your left side is actually what feels amazing about it, and your right brain is like, um, I'm not balanced because there's shame. And that comes up a lot, especially with both sides. But I talk about it with the right side because we're just talking about it right now. But yeah, so each mirror shows us where we're split in belief and in our identity. And when we know where we're split, we know what's ready to change. Now again, there's so many modalities. Whatever you use for you is gonna work for you. So if you're journaling, if you're doing EDMR, if you're doing whatever you're doing to get to the root, is what you're doing. Don't let nobody shame you in that neither. It's your journey. So when we're out of balance with the hemispheres, the mirror is reflecting it. Point blank, right? Everything is so interconnected. When the hemispheres are out of balance, the reflection in the mirror is also out of balance. You be in whole of mirrors and you be like, yo, I'm really triggered. But that's because you just have not come to peace around what you're saying, or what you're projecting, or what's at the core. Not even or, and what's at the core. Right? So, okay, so another one. Because what example did I use? Whatever, we'll move forward. Another example, worthiness. We all say, I am worthy. Some people have a really hard time because that's how deeply, deeply rooted that belief is, and they really believe that they're not worthy. but we all have had, not all, let me not say that, we don't do generalizations, but many have had the feelings of not being worthy. If you're feeling like you're not worthy, that is showing you that you're not whole brained, or you're perceiving from one side than the other. It's a fractured embodiment. It's a split brain. It's a fractured embodiment. So you gotta be ready to integrate the tools. So with balanced embodiment, we use many different tools. That's why I say, really, whatever you find for you to come to the whole brain state, do it. Because when you're at the whole brain state, you can experience peace, you can experience non-suffering, you can experience non-judgment, you can experience compassion, because you seeing both sides. So Psyche is definitely a reprogramming tool that I love it. Recode, Q, quantum time leap. It's a couple of them. Those are those are I recommend, especially with things that are super traumatic, because the body gets re-traumatized with the subconscious experience. If you don't want to go into the animal around it, even though I am a proprietor for the animal, if you don't want to, then something like a quantum leaping tool, like quantum leap, psyche, those are things that you want to look out and see what's up and see if it'll work for you, and if it's something that you're going to be, you know what I mean. But again, you believe it's going to work, it's going to work for you. For those that want to express the animal first, a tool like up level communication, animal ritual, venting, you want to utilize that tool so that you can express and expel from the body, and then you do a quantum leap. Now, let's say for your journey, for someone like myself, who I'm like, yo, I'm a proprietor for release the energy from the body, but I'm like, yo, I don't cry, I don't get angry, I don't I then you can use a reprogramming tool for you to be safe with expressing your animal, or whatever the case may be. You want to do that. You want to do that because what you're going to find is that the quantum leap is so grand. Like, you're going to be quickly moved into the new reality, and then you're going to be able to express yourself, and then you're going to be like, okay, now I'm ready to transform. Because again, everybody wants the quick fix, but I am very much a proprietor for, like, yo, balance. Balance means that the shift can happen mind mentally, but allow and surrender to the process, because you don't want to be going through the same mirror over and over, and each time is the same reactions over and over. You're going to face mirrors that are the same lesson again and again. Yes, you during the lesson is what needs to change. If if you are 35, 40, 50, 60, and you are still reacting the same way you reacted when you were 16 and upset, then that means, baby, you know what it means. Because, like I said in the last one, these are things that can be measured. Your embodiment, your understanding can be measured by your response time, by your presence in the moment, by your reflection, all of that. So don't be afraid of it. There's other embodiment practices that you can also use to come into a whole brain state, like movement and breath work. Movement, of course, amazing, right? Amazing, because it's fun, it's expelling energy, it's emotion, it's energy and motion. So, you know what I mean? And then there's breath work, which is amazing because you always have your breath. That's another reason why I love modalities like Psyche, because you always have your body. You always have yourself to subconsciously communicate with. With breath, you always have your breath, right? Now, again, and it helps to know many, because in times of need, baby, it helps to have something to choose from. When I was going through my miscarriage, I went into hyperventilation at one point, and I mean, not, oh, child, no, not hyperventilation, hypertension at one point, and my hands were like this, and I was like, man, I should have did psyche before I was like this, because I finger test for when I'm working on myself. I mean, I use other things like pendulum and stuff, but I prefer my method is I use my finger. So when I was going through my miscarriage and I was going through the hypertension, my hand was like throwing up gang signs, but I had my breath. Now, if I'm going through an asthma attack, right, I may not have my breath all the way in control. And I said it like that because I've had asthma attacks and I've been able to get into my breath. But there, again, everybody is different. Everybody's in a different place in their journey. So for someone who cannot do that, having something like Psyche on deck is quick and easy, because they muscle testing real quick what it is they need to do, and they're getting into place, and then they can watch their lungs open up. Because I've psyche many times at the beginning of my journey, many things, and I still do. But asthma was one of those things. I was like, ugh, my air flows, blah 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 blah. It was a really long statement. I'm actually gonna come up with a book of statements geared towards different things, but your statements are the most powerful and impactful. Having other people's statements is helpful, it's inspiring, but what something will mean for you will be so vastly different. If I say I am free and I just put I am free, I could be talking about from a job. You may say I am free and you're talking about free to travel, free to da da da, free spiritually. It could just mean something totally different. So you want to come up with your balanced embodiment or your goal statements or your affirmations. It doesn't matter what you call them, y'all. You want to come up with those for yourself. And we have time today, so I'll go over goal creation, affirmation, and balanced embodied statements in really powerful ways. We already talked a little bit about effortless ways, right? It doesn't always have to be super dynamic. Sometimes me and my folks is balancing across every dimensional timeline and quantum da da da, and it's all fancy. And sometimes we're like, yo, working out is as easy as eating for me. You just got it just got to mean something for you, and you just got to have the conviction when you're testing it, okay, when you're communicating, okay. Now again, for my people that muscle test, this is everything I'm saying. You can basically already start working with and integrating. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially, I have my own whole brain postures that that are communicated through me, but you will receive your own, right? So if you're muscle testing, blah 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 blah, and it's like something is weak, you need to come up with a whole brain state around it. Bam, you probably already have something for the homeostasis part. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all know I recognize everybody is at where they at. Everybody is different spaces, and it's nothing but blessings. It's nothing but love, right? Okay, so when you're utilizing these things to reprogram, what's happening is you're actually creating new neurological pathways. This is amazing because for so long we were told that adults are, you ain't creating no new you ain't creating no new neurons, and it's like, no, yeah, you are. Especially if you are, so number one, and I don't know if I talked about this last week when I did animal ego higher self, but when you utilize the communication of animal ego higher self, you start to set up everything like a stage for yourself. So it starts to get really fun, especially when you've been doing it for a little bit and now you're comfortable. Your partner or your family or the people that support you is really comfortable with going into witnessing your animal. So now it's like, yo, my animal got something to say. And then, oh, what they got to say? I'm at like a level 7, and then your world becomes a stage. That's why at the end of, it's not even in the written version, but that's why when I perform play, I shame nothing. I embrace everything as a mirror into me. And this is why I get to play and all the world becomes my stage, because I choose to see. So when you choose to walk down the hall of mirrors, you're choosing to start curating a plot over your life, because you're able to properly see where you're creating from. And now your conscious mind and subconscious mind can start creating together instead of in opposition. Because you say, I want to create this amazing opportunity, and your subconscious, all it hears is, you ain't never gonna be shit, you ain't never gonna be shit, you ain't never gonna be shit, or that's what it heard. Now, with these tools, you can get them in alignment. You can get your goal in alignment with your subconscious mind. This is what I want to do. My subconscious mind is on board. And this is what I meant when I said the conscious mind is like a hand cart going slow, but it's going this way half the time. While the subconscious mind, mad fast, going this way, speedway train. So you gotta get them in alignment. You have to get them in alignment. If you, for accomplishing things, for growth, elevation, all of it is about getting them into alignment. Because everything that I want to come out my mouth, my subconscious is aligned with it. And if it's not, do I possess the tool in order to reprogram that? Because I'm not operating optimally, because my subconscious mind is not on board with my conscious mind. And my conscious mind thinks it's running a show, and the subconscious mind, 95%, is running around laughing. Okay? So, listen. Now, because I'm in Connessioni, y'all know, and just for my collective in general, y'all know I'm going to speak to the embodied leaders or those seeking further embodiment. You want to ensure that you are constantly investing and pouring into yourself any and everything that calls to you when it comes to your spiritual growth. When it is so important for you to come to the understanding of left brain, right brain, whole brain state. No matter, and again, right, I use many modalities because I understand that at the end of the day, this is what it's about. Integration. Is my conscious, subconscious integrated? Is my animal, ego, higher self integrated? Now, mind you, and all these things are the same thing. These just different words, right? Because there's another one, conscious, subconscious, superconscious, right? Ego. There's so much systems with. It's all same thing, y'all. We just using semantics. We just using words. The end of the day, it's just all about integration. So for my leaders, remember, you can only hold space from the level in which you're integrated. That I'm talking about all the things, giving readings, all the things. You want to be objective. You want to walk yourself through the hall of mirrors. You want to know where you may be projecting. If you see the three, what is it, 3 cups, something like that. 3 cups is one of them threes, and they be like, it's a third party, somebody cheating. What if the people is poly? Again, you can only see people as far as you've seen yourself. So why it's so important to walk down the hall of mirrors is because you want to know your shadow so deeply. Every remedy in the hall of mirrors starts with self-love. This is why you want to be in there, because if it's starting with self-love, then where's it going? Where's it going? It ain't gotta go nowhere, because self-love is the love that's needed. Because from self-love, I love the self. And that means everybody is a reflection that I love, because they are the self. They're a reflection of the self. Aspects of us that we either integrate, that we suppress, that we shame, that we wish we had, that we never learned. that we want to cultivate. Like that. So you want to integrate all your parts. You don't want to be. Listen, I talk a lot of like everything is benevolent. If somebody come in here right now and tell me that they're raped, do you think I'm going to say that to them? Absolutely not. And this is coming right now because a lot of us, we do get lost in that, myself included. We do get lost sometimes. And we don't know how to properly continue to hold space for somebody's animal. So you want to fully integrate. You want to come to peace with shadows so that when shadows is doing their thing, it ain't about nothing. I'm not scared of nothing. I mean, one time, it was a meditation. It said, I want you to imagine the wildest thing you could imagine, the most scariest thing you can imagine. I just want you to walk up to it. I remember somebody was having a conversation with me, and I was just present, right? I was just present, and they was like, "Yeah, because when I say demon, you gonna think of X Y Z, yeah, X Y Z," and I said, "No, I didn't." And they said, "Well, what did you think about?" And I said, "I didn't think about nothing because I just was receiving what you were saying. I was present. I don't have no perception of good or bad. My ego does. Stuff go down. My ego da da da. But my higher self know what's up. So again, you want to be okay with your shadows so that you can really meet people where they at. You understand? That's what it's really about. At the end of the day, if we can't sit amongst those that we would deem unredeemable, what's up? What are we doing? And no shame, no shade. Everybody path different. But if you come to sit with me, then you know I'm gonna talk about that path of unconditional service, love, and remembrance. I'm a right angle cross of service. 16 collective gates. So I know what I'm here for. I know what I see in the collective. I know what I see deeply for humanity. So make sure that you taking the time to be at peace with all parts of yourself. To this day, I animal express. And sometimes people can't handle that. But I'm always expressing, yo, this is my animal, this is my ego. Can you consent to witness? And like I have my containers. Everybody can't hold space for that. And what I've come to find out is that because I'm so comfortable with that with myself, I can hold space for anybody. I can hold space for anybody. It's nothing that anybody can tell me that's gonna make me be like, you need to be in a murder chair. No, I'm gonna seek for understanding because there are always things that we do not see. There are things beneath the surface. There are things that need to be learned by parties involved that can only be learned through the creation of the circumstances, right? So, again, you can't take somewhere where you haven't been. You can't take somewhere where you haven't been. And I always say that there are certain instances where that's not always true, right? Because children be leading the dang parents. But as far as when it comes to walking through the hall of mirrors and being at peace with your shadows, it's giving that. You ain't at peace with your anger. You shame anger. How can you really help this person truly with their anger? They're just going to transform or gain a shameful perception of their anger. But if you've integrated that, it's a different story. Now it's playtime. Now it's playtime. All the world becomes a stage, right? So now, okay. How many minutes we got? 15? Okay, so 44. When we talk about a whole brain state and when we talk about space holders and leaders, we already said that you can only hold space at the level in which you've integrated. This is why it's important, men and women, to really start to get into these spaces of Being comfortable with your own feelings and emotions. These are not shameful things. These things show us how to witness ourselves to transform. This is how we witness others to transform. Transformation does not come from a bunch of stuff. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's why even these modalities that I practice, we need nothing, y'all. We don't need not one machine. We don't need not one machine. We don't need not one nothing. It takes you and your body. That's it. It takes partners, but essentially it takes you and your body. Because let's say it was not any people around to witness. I definitely teach methodologies of self witnessing, how to hold space for yourself. Take it there. You in your car, you screaming, carrying on, record it. Watch it back. Write down what you said. Every curse that you cursed out, write it down. Bring it forth. Because when you witness yourself, you start to see, like, oh, snap. I said this like 4 times. That she didn't show up. How could she do this to me? People always not showing up. Blah, 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 blah. My mom didn't show up. Damn, I wrote that 4 times. Damn, I'm triggered when people don't show up for me. What does that feel like? Abandonment, neglect. You get what I'm saying? So, all you need is you. So you want to really become that space holder. Holding space is becoming a regulated mirror. This is Isumatak information. It was a couple times I was supposed to come on and do Isumatak activations. I was going through transition, so I was unable at the time because it wasn't time, which is fine. These are Isumatak activations, y'all. These are Isumatak activations. Balanced embodiment is about meeting another in a whole space. That means that if I'm going to consent to witness you, you're my client, you my partner in this, am I showing up in a whole brain, whole human state as a practitioner, as a facilitator, as a keeper of sacred space? Am I showing up balanced? I don't need to show up perfect. Am I showing up balanced? Am I showing up integrated? Am I showing up non-judgmental, compassionate, witnessing? This is why the left brain, right brain, whole brain state is so important and vital and essential. I constantly say the journey of an empath is a journey of non-judgment, and the way to non-judgment is integration, because judgment comes from the imbalance of my left brain thinks it should be this way, or my right brain is perceiving that it should be more this way. Together, my left and right brain knows that there are infinite ways that this could play out. Who else knows that? What's the other word for it? Our higher self, right? That all is well, that everything is serving to grow us. So when you are in your practitioner bag, when you are in your facilitator bag, when you are in your witness bag, what does that look like? And do you know where you get the practice? With those family members that you can't stand within that household, because that's something that, listen, we deal with, we struggle with. I'm authentic. It's something that I've been making sure that I'm documenting lately. And how am I showing up in my friendships or personal relationships? And I'm asking myself, with this one relationship that I have, how can I hold space for so many people? And I get around this person, I'm super irritated. But I know that he's not doing anything wrong. I know that there's something that needs to be addressed within my own being. Will somebody else probably think the same thing I think about him? Absolutely. But again, he's not doing nothing wrong. And vice versa, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not doing nothing wrong with being how I am within the situation. I'm just addressing my own mirrors. And if he feels disrespected by my irritation, that is a mirror that he's going to have to address. We can agree to address it together, communicate, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's 100% our own responsibility to address our own triggers. He shouldn't have to dance around me, and I shouldn't have to dance around him. Whole human. Whole human is understanding who you are, all parts of you. And that's why I gave y'all 2 weeks of animal, ego, higher self, left brain, right brain, whole brain, conscious, subconscious, conscious. Because when you enter the hall of mirrors, you really want to know those parts of you. So you know what is coming up, who is experiencing it. Oh, this person, who is experiencing that? Is that you really experiencing that? Is that the 8-year-old you really experiencing that? Is that your animal? Or is that your higher self? That's why I gave you 2 weeks, because you got to know the qualities of the animal, the ego, the higher self. You got to know the qualities of the left, the right, the whole brain. You got to know the qualities of, you got to know the qualities so you know what you're looking for and how to reprogram as we move forward. Because I'm going to show y'all how to move forward. I'm going to show y'all how to move forward. But I want y'all to know these key concepts, because these concepts are super important. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any words, if you have any, you know what, Taisha, I don't agree at all, let me know, because I can speak. And this is what I love to do. I love to share. I love to share what Spirit has put upon me. Now, mind you, I talk about non-judgment as an 1858. I got the 17, you feel me, opinions. But the correction that I see is that we all need to come back into who we truly are. And that is through integration. And integration only happens through the Holy Mirrors. And I don't mean that that's the only tool that can be used. I mean that we face circumstances, situations in order. That's what I mean. You don't just become integrated. You wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be this journey. But no matter what you claim or remember, as far as like, oh, I'm a star seed, or oh, I'm this and the third, I'm this and the third, you're still taking a human journey so that you can know what this is like, so that you can experience integration, so that you can assist from the level in which you've integrated yourself. Okay, so anyway, I guess I will end it off with a balanced embodiment. I am safe to be whole. I am curious to my wholeness. I welcome in my wholeness. I am whole. I experience my wholeness as a daily practice.
I'll be back.
Very simple joints, y'all. And when we get into balancing it, you're going to love it. I gave a little bit of tip earlier, just have your left and your right interacting with each other. But other than that, I will see y'all soon. Oh, actually, I'm tripping out. I wrote a few questions that I want y'all to just, you know what I mean? As you witness me, are you witnessing me from your left brain or your right brain? Or are you witnessing me from a whole brain perspective and knowing? It's question number 1. Question number 2, what belief do you currently have that may be keeping you in a loop? Or, same question, just worded different. What belief do you currently have that is more left brain? What belief do you currently have that is more right brain? What belief do you currently have that is keeping integration from happening around something? What mirror is life showing you now? It's actually 3:29. It's actually We're having an eclipse. Y'all know the energies. I know y'all see it popping up everywhere. So ask yourself, what mirror is life showing me right now? What belief am I ready to release? How can I come to a whole brain state around this? Now, I'm going to be coming with the stuff, y'all. But there's stuff. You can't wait for me? Go ahead. Get on Google. Get on these things and search it up. Whole brain state, vagus nerve, balance, homeostasis, bliss, samadhi, obtaining, recode, psyche, right? Like, get into it. But I'm going to be coming every week. And I'm so excited. I'll be doing Connessioni every other week. And so these will be loaded up. But I'll be doing every week for the Hall of Mirrors and just going over different things. And we can do it together. It's not a problem. This is why I'm doing it. All right, y'all. Peace.